What's going on, fam? I'm Josh, you can call me Anoriand, and today I'm here with a full review of Visions of Mana. Thanks to the wonderful folks at Square Enix, I got an early review copy to be able to break everything down with you all, but for transparency, I will disclose the only thing I received was a copy of the game, and all thoughts are my own. Additionally, my copy was for the PS5 version of the game, so all footage and thoughts will reflect that. With that out of the way, let's dive right in. Visions of Mana has a lot of hype to live up to. The Mana series, or Seiken Densetsu as it's known in Japan, dates back to 1991 and the Game Boy. Since then, it has had several absolute all-time titles, like Secret of Mana on the SNES or my personal favorite, Legend of Mana on the PS1. But Visions of Mana is actually the first mainline entry in the series since 2006 with Dawn of Mana on the PS2. Now, this is a series that's rich with lore and world building, so it's also taken a lot of different directions. But I gotta be honest, with this game, I think they took the right ones. So let's go ahead and address it all. The story of Visions of Mana is rich and vibrant, even if, and perhaps because, it evokes stories we know. In a world filled with mana, there exists a mana tree, and regularly a group of people is chosen, one by each elemental spirit, to be an Alm, or a representative of that element. They gather together, kept protected by a soul guard, and travel to the mana tree where they will sacrifice their souls to rejuvenate the tree and keep the world safe. The tale starts with our ostensible main character, Val, getting chosen as the soul guard, while his childhood friend and love interest, Hina, is chosen as the Alm of Fire. They set off on their journey, and along the way, they meet several notable people and several other Alms, including Karina of the Wind, Morley of the Moon, and Palomina of the Water. Val may not be an Alm chosen by a spirit, but he was born with the ability to crystallize monsters into their essence, creating gems known as core stones. And through their journey, our heroes learn that, despite the world being in danger, there are many who would use their unique gifts and powers for their own gains, and have to navigate a path that is often as treacherous for its people as it is for its monsters. This story borrows a lot from the world building of prior Mana games, and feels exceedingly familiar, even as you explore new locales like the windy village of Longrin, the beautiful water city of Illustana, or the frozen tundras surrounding Aetern. More than that, much of the journey feels like a callback to another popular Square Enix series, the Final Fantasy series, and the similarly sacrificial pilgrimage of Final Fantasy X, although in this case it's more like if there was one Titus and a whole gang of Yunas. The characters all are not just willing, but even proud or excited to be Alms, despite knowing the sacrifice waiting at the end, and so they each are very full of life and, well, character. Living their moments to the fullest before reaching the end, the idea that this is how the journey is supposed to end, regardless of any twists to get there, forces both you and the characters to enjoy the journey itself for what it is. Characters have complex feelings and motivations, and it becomes hard not to fall in love with them. Morley comes across a bit brooding at first, but when you see the weight he carries emotionally, and what he would give to undo a single moment of his past, you can't help but feel for him and connect to him. Palomina is instantly understandable, trying to balance both leadership for her people and her duty to the world, proving herself as a confident woman with a sharp and caring eye. And in a game full of great and real characters, Karina stands out as one of the greatest in any game I've played in years. Karina is a spunky southern belle, a brat with both a mountain of energy and crippling self-doubt, and confident as can be while racked with insecurity rooted in her disability. She steals the show in so many scenes, and I constantly had her in my main party, running around to hear her banter with the others. There's so many great standout characters in this game that will be truly memorable to players, but Karina is the one that won my heart. Look, the story resonated so strongly with me because it's most evocative of Legend of Mana on the PS1, and as I've said before, that is far and away my favorite game in the series. It tells a story that is rooted in a sort of bittersweet sadness that allows itself to bloom in that, where there are beautiful moments that make you smile, but it's not afraid to make you cry along the way. There are times where the game will pull back on a moment and then punch you in the gut with it, but then flip it around completely, and it's hard to explain, but if you're looking for something like Legend of Mana, how that game made you feel, how there was a sort of a sadness mixed with hope in the distance, that you knew you would have bad moments along the way, but that it would be worth it in the end. This is the game for you. Trust me, it's really special. The game is gorgeous, with highly stylized graphics and characters and an incredibly colorful world. Whether you're looking at Val in his stylized crimson swordsman's gear, Hina in her demure white outfit, the peaceful village of Tiania surrounded by its yellow grain, or the giant threatening volcano, all of the things I just said apply to and come from a single village. Across the world, there's lush green plains, gorgeous beaches, mountains with treacherous climbs, frozen tundras, and everything in between. The world is filled with color and character, and some of the side quests even force you to find the most beautiful locales and just take a look at them. It's a game that'll constantly have you looking around and saying, "Good lord, this is pretty." And I can confidently say will hold up for a long time regardless of the super high-end fidelity because of those graphical decisions. It's not perfect. Some lip-syncing in cutscenes is a bit inconsistent, there are spots where water effects and such can suffer from pop-in, but it was minor and minimal things. The gorgeous world far outweighs any issues that I had. Overlaying with all these gorgeous visuals is a soundtrack that would fit in with any of the classic Mana games. Every location has music that feels just right and fits the theme of not just the locale, but the world. And the music itself is rooted in a sense of exploration and adventure. I will say the melodies are not necessarily the strongest, so it's not the type of tune you whistle to yourself. For instance, anyone who's played Secret of Mana might go, and you know that tune, but this doesn't quite have a lot of those earworms. But it's still great music, even if it's not quite earworm heavy. Gameplay-wise, Visions is an absolute home run. You control a total of up to 5 playable characters, not including Hina, who joins you as an NPC, but rather including a 5th character who I will not show you in this review, because you gotta keep some stuff a surprise. Combat is exceedingly fun above all else, using both active combat with combos and unique attacks, as well as either quick set buttons for magic or even straight up pausing combat to use the classic ring system from prior games to cast spells or use items. You can dodge and dart around easy, and combat never feels like a slog. You control a group of 3 party members at a time, with the ability to swap out whoever you like. Val is, as I said, ostensibly the main character because of how the story is framed, but you can absolutely run a team that has him on the bench based on your playstyle. If you want to run Karina, Palomina, and Morley, go for it. Characters each have a base class, but as you unlock the various elemental vessels tied to each of the elemental spirits, you can unlock additional classes for each character. Each elemental vessel can be held by only one character at a time, so you do have to decide when you get, say, the water spirit, if you'd rather have Val use it to be a duelist, or Morley use it to be an ascetic. But classes can be changed at the drop of a hat, so you can experiment freely and swap them around to find what you like best. Characters each have 3 different weapon types between their various classes, and these various weapons play very differently between each other, so you can easily find the playstyle that works best for you, whether that's Val's giant great swords or Karina's dual fan magic-focused builds. The classes are supplemented by a weapon and armor, though you can freely change the appearance of a character's weapon to that of any weapon you found so far, as well as ability seeds, starting out with 2 slots per character and being able to get as many as 10. Ability seeds can vary from stat boosts like plus 10% strength to unique benefits like resistances to status effects to entire abilities like being able to cast the fireball or healing light spells. Learning to combine these is how you can fully unlock everyone's potential. There's also the elemental plot, which is how you unlock abilities specific to the classes themselves, and between everything there is plenty for you to work on to get better, and plenty of content to dig into for people looking for that, such as Elemental Ares for combat challenges, or searching for nemesis in the field for high difficulty individual fights, searching for grizzly syrups to trade to dud bears, or a plethora of side quests throughout the game. The main word I kept landing on as I was playing was fun. This game feels fun. It feels like, while it has a very powerful story to tell, it doesn't care about that. It cares about being fun. And boy howdy, it nails it. I just kept playing while I was reviewing this. Not because I had to review it, but because I wanted to play. Every time I went to a new area, I just wanted to explore the map and search around for treasure and the elementite stones to absorb power from, and everything else I could. I wanted to keep fighting and finding combat challenges. I wanted to keep exploring. I wanted to keep playing because I was having fun. In a time when so many games seem to strive to be the most beautiful work of art first and foremost and tell a story you'll never forget, Visions of Mana feels like its first directive was to be fun. And along the way, they managed to tell a beautiful, heartfelt and poignant story that pulls at your heartstrings like few others. And that is maybe the highest praise I can give. That it's just so fun. Overall, Visions of Mana is a beautiful, powerful, and as I stressed, fun title. It's not without its flaws. The gameplay isn't perfect. Things can sometimes be a bit simple. But after a year of playing Final Fantasy XVI and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and all these other heavy games with so much to the story and all this other stuff, I needed a game that cared first and foremost about how much fun I had. I loved those games. Don't get me wrong. One of them is going to be my game of the year this year. But this game delivered what I needed in spades, which was just a good time. It quickly became a comfort game for me. And in a time when I have been so stressful because I have PAX coming up and all these other things going on and everything else, man, that comfort was like a warm blanket. And I know I'm going to be going back to this game again and again when I have the chances. This is the type of game that warms you up and feels good inside, like a home-cooked meal when you need it. And I promise you, it's exactly what you remember from your childhood, making you smile, while also feeling like it's brand new. Visions of Mana gets a 9 out of 10. And I truly believe every action RPG fan should give this game a try. Hey! Thank you so much for checking out the review. I do plenty of structured content for a bunch of different games. I'm an official creator for Sword of Convallaria, and I also regularly stream. Please leave a like and a comment and a subscribe and all that good stuff if you enjoyed this. Check me out live here or on Twitch. Follow me on socials and all the other stuff. You know what YouTubers are going to ask you to do. Hopefully I'll see you in the future. My name's Josh. You can call me Anoriand. And as I always say, I love y'all, I appreciate y'all, I thank y'all, and until next time, I'll catch you later, fam. All right.